I'm sorry for the picture I'm about to paint in your mind, but I want you to really picture this, and I want you to listen till the end before you comment, because I have a very important point to share. Now imagine 40 babies, small babies, with their heads cut off. Imagine rows of women laid out and sexually assaulted systematically by a group of barbarians. Now imagine that you're hearing this news from well-known sources like the New York Times, BBC, CNN. And then, even though you might be a skeptical person and you might even think that your president, Biden, is senile, when he goes out and he says that he himself has seen the pictures of these babies with their heads cut off, you think, surely they can't all be wrong. Surely the President of the United States gets some sort of advice from people on what to say, right? So you, of course, believe what you hear. And then you see that those people, the victims that were attacked, are fighting back and are hitting the people who committed these unspeakable crimes. And you think, I don't blame them. They should do that. They have a right to do that, to defend themselves. And you watch day 1, day 2, yeah, more, day 3, day 4, week 1, week 2, month 1, month 2, half a year of these criminals paying for what they had done to those 40 babies and all these women. And then you start seeing report after report, investigation after investigation, saying that these claims were actually unfounded. That what was said, all these atrocities, didn't actually happen. Well, they did happen, just not on October 7th. They happened in 1982 in the Sabra and Shatila massacre. But that's a story for another time. Those are the Palestinians who were hurt at the time. All of these crimes, babies in the oven, beheadings of children and babies, systematic sexual assault of women, all of that happened. But anyway, that's not our topic. So you start seeing those reports and you're like, you're a reasonable human being. And you're like, let me look into this a little bit. And you start looking into it and you start coming across information that you were never told. Because all your life, somebody painted a picture in your mind about a group of barbaric terrorists who look weird and who wear these scarves and who are terrorizing their poor neighbors. And their neighbors have a right to defend themselves. And that's the story that you were told and the story that you believed, because the sources were like the President of the United States. So at this point, you're like, what? I don't understand. Like, I'm not cool at this point seeing all these babies being killed in Gaza. I mean, yeah, they did something horrible, but not these babies, and not for 6 months. Come on. So as you start doing your research, you start bringing this up with friends, maybe colleagues, maybe at your kid's soccer match when you're sitting with the other parents. And you start noticing that all these people who felt the same way that you did initially about the initial attack, the 40 beheaded babies, all of the rapes, all of this out of context, that these people came out of nowhere. They attacked. All of these people who agreed with you in the beginning when you were all just as angry and enraged with these crimes are suddenly moving away from you, looking at you differently, like, what the hell? And without really understanding, you suddenly go from a peace-loving person, genuinely, to being labeled an anti-Semite. Or worse, being fired from your job, losing friends, because you're researching, you're finding out the truth. And you can't unlearn what you've learned. You can't unsee what you've seen. And you start questioning everything. At this point, you have a choice to make. To trust all of these people who have proven time and time again that they purposefully planted and programmed these pictures in your mind, not only from October 7th, but from prior to that. Planted all of these lies in your mind. Are you gonna believe those people? Or are you gonna believe yourself? I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you, do you trust your own common sense? Do you trust your own ability to be a critical thinker, to do your own research, to get in touch with your humanity and stop allowing those big guys to play with your mind and do what's right, whatever that might mean in your life? Does that mean posting about what's happening? Does that mean protesting next weekend? Does that mean boycotting all of the products that support what's happening right now in Gaza? Does that mean quitting your job? Does that mean taking a stand? Does that mean calling your Congress people? Does that mean going on strike? I don't know. What does it mean to you? What are you gonna do with the information you now know to be true? Not because I told you, but because you did your own research. And you didn't necessarily just do the research from Arab scholars and Palestinian scholars, of which there are thousands. But forget about those. Listen to the Israeli side. Listen to the Israeli historians, people like Ilan Pape. Just read. You don't have to even read the whole book. Maybe read like a small synopsis of his book. What do you think?